What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show, fellas. You want to say what up?
What's going on, good people?
Que
Happy
paso?
Sunday. Que paso?
Actually, it's Monday, or February 13th. I'm about to say October. Dang. We all messed up in here.
How long have you been on vacation?
You said what?
How long you been on vacation? Jeez.
Man, I ain't been on a vacation yet, man. I need a vacation, that's for sure. Anyway, welcome to tonight's show. We got a great show lined up for you guys. This is week 2 of our Healthy You series. We're going to be talking about emotional support today, doing some discussion on the best way to emotionally support those around you, and hopefully give you an understanding of how you can be emotionally supported properly. So we're going to be talking about that topic today. But before we get started, we're going to remind you, make sure you get over to gftradio.creator-spring.com, pick up the merchandise. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, all kinds of apparel and accessories that you can check out and purchase, as well as support us while we support you. We have our website over at gftradioshow.com. You can get all our links, all our socials, all that kind of stuff, as well as see replays of our show or listen free on demand on all the major audio platforms, as well as here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube for all the replays. Tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about emotional support. So our part of our Healthy You series. Make sure you go check out last week's show. We talked about mental health, doing mental health checkup. Talked about things that can affect you, strategies to get over it, and all that kind of thing. So make sure that you
recognize and win.
Yeah, recognizing. Yeah, exactly. So tonight we're going to talk about emotional support. And I went from the perspective of how do you emotionally support others, but like I said a few minutes ago, is this will hopefully also give you an idea of how to get emotionally supported, by those around you when you need it as well. So tonight's topic came up in my mind because I know a lot of people have been discussing this lately. One of the bigger things, it's a couple of things that people have been discussing, but one of the bigger things has been people who compete versus when they are trying to relate. And what I'm talking about is basically, folks come to you and, they may have had a bad day, may have had a stressful situation come up, may have had, and sometimes even it could be a good thing. It could be, a new job, a new car, your kids are excelling in school, something like that. And it's, very tempting, very, very tempting for people to bring up their either issue or good thing. And sometimes it can feel like competing. And that's something that I think is a struggle for some people. For others, it's not so bad. And this, we're going to get into this topic later in terms of listening, the best way to listen. But before we go that far into it, I just want to talk about competing versus relating. How do you guys feel about, when you're going to a friend or a family member and you're telling them about, we can start just with situations where things are going a little sideways, and you're telling them about that, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm having a bad day too. And how do you feel about that when someone responds in that way?
For me personally, I don't take it no way, because sometimes, that person, we had a conversation before, and I once said, you got to know who you're going to. You feel me? You got to know who who to share what with and who not to share what with. Everything not for everybody. You feel me? So that's first of all. Secondly, uh, it'd be kind of selfish on your part to expect somebody not to be going through something too. You feel me? Because I know quite a few people who are real comfortable with dumping their emotional baggage or their emotional trash on people, but then feel some type of way when other people do it to them. So like sometimes I just would advise people to be aware of who they vent to. That's what I've learned over the years. So I don't vent to everybody because sometimes somebody can be it's a thin line because sometimes somebody can be trying to relate, and the only way they know how to relate is by giving their example or what they're going through, so you can understand that they understand. But also sometimes on your part or on our part, it could be insecurity, like or sensitivity. We so sensitive because we're upset at the time that we may feel like they're trying to compete when really they might be just trying to relate. So like it's a thin line there. But personally, I would say just try to brush it off and just know who you venting to.
For sure. Dane?
Um, it reminds me of that old saying, "Misery loves company."
Mm.
Like sometimes, like Smooth said, that you have to know your audience and who you're venting to, because sometimes you know how the person's going to react. Sometimes they can be more comforting. Sometimes they want to vent too. Like, man, I'm in the same boat you in, man. And both y'all can sometimes get relief. I guess depending on the crisis that both of you are in.
Right.
Somebody's might be a little bit more serious than others. Like sometimes you have to know when to, I guess, vent back or try to be consoling. Sometimes you're like, "Oh man, you going through that too?" And like, yeah, both of us start feeling better. Like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's going through hell
Yeah,
right now.
Good point.
And sometimes you have to know when, like, oh man, this sounds like a little bit more serious than my problem. Let me just step back, like, yeah, man, I'm sorry you're going through it, man. Anything you need some help, whatever. I'm down, I got your back. I've been through some stuff too, not bad as you, but man, just let you know, I'm always there for you. You just have to know your audience.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would say that
Hey,
sometimes
Sonny.
you gotta know the person, like how Smooth said, you gotta know who you're venting to. Sometimes you gotta learn how to be a listener. Sometimes you can't problem solve. Sometimes they don't need you to relate. Sometimes they just want you to listen. And we have to. I know for myself, sometimes I have to check myself at times because while I may be wanting to relate or get them to understand that I understand how they feel, but sometimes people don't need that. We don't need to relate. We just need you to listen, and then you have to be okay with listening. So I think it works both ways. You can also vent without making my problems or your problems my problems, but I can also understand that it's a time to relate, it's a time to listen, it's a time to give advice or help fix.
Oh yeah, good point about the advice part. Yep. What up, Doe?
Yo, gang, daddy duty tonight. So just in case y'all hear a little princess or something in the background, this is what we dealing with.
Oh, life duty.
Sunny killed me. She took what I was about to say. The first thing I asked when you call, for argument's sake, Willie calls me and say, "Yo, man, I tell you about something. You want me to listen or do you want my opinion?" That's the first thing I asked. So it tells me how we gonna go about this conversation. Sometimes you just need to get shit off your chest. Copy. You just want to be able to say it and get it off of you. Sometimes you're really looking for some advice. So you need to figure out what's this situation before we even start this conversation. Before we end up on this phone for 20 minutes or an hour or whatever, let me know which role you need me to play right here. Because like I stated last week on the episode, I'm definitely the phone call for this is the problem or that is the problem, but how we going about this when we get to this problem.
Good point, man. That's a great strategy. I like that idea,
But you,
especially from a standpoint of understanding your role in the conversation. And I know that I'm one of those kind of people who will quickly offer advice because my thing is I always feel like if you're calling me to tell me about your problem, especially when you don't know how to deal with the problem, first thing I want to do is give you advice, or first thing I want to do is fix it, or whatever the case may be. And being able to establish your role up front is great advice, because I think a lot of us have that tendency. But then there's also some of us who don't know. You may want to take the role of listener, but then the person is waiting on you to give them the magic answer, and then they're disappointed because you don't have anything to offer. But you're like, hey, I didn't know you wanted my advice. So that is a great strategy. Definitely something for a lot of us to think about and a lot of us to approach. I mean, like Smooth was saying, you got to know your audience, but you also got to know who your speaker is, right? And if I know a certain person, I got a friend that is like, hey, if I come to you, I just want you to listen. So I already know with that person, more often than not, they're only coming to me to vent, and I'm just here to listen. I usually don't offer them advice, or I usually keep my advice to myself until they say, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" Or, "Hey, what's your stance on this situation?" So I think that in the situation where you don't know for sure, or you want to say something, but then you're like, you know what? Let me just double check. I think that's definitely a great way to approach it. Me myself,
How I my
I'm
bad.
yeah,
How I got there though is
mhm.
having people ask you for advice and then still flat out ignoring all the shit that you told them. If I'm calling you Willie and I'm saying, "Hey, bro, I'm having a trouble managing my money. I know you good at that shit." You give me all of these different pointers about how to do it, and then you say, "Well, damn, hype, you just blew 2,000 on some dumb shit." Well, we just talked about this. That's what made me start going. What do you want here? You just want to talk because I can just copy it. I can just listen and keep doing whatever I was doing. Throw in a few. Wow, that's crazy. Shit, man. Wow. Because you ain't really want my opinion. You just want me to listen. And if you were actually calling for that advice, then you give them, you know what I'm saying, your genuine thoughts on it. But
And
my
see,
bad. Go ahead. You was about to say.
I'm completely different. Like I'm not giving you that option. Do you want me to listen or advice? Because I established a long time ago. Like I ain't with to you dumping your emotional baggage on me. So if you don't want me to advise you or give my opinion on it, then don't come to me. You feel me? I'm not here to listen to your problems. You feel me? I'm not your psychologist, psychiatrist, or whatever. That's not what I'm here for. I got my own problems. When I come to you, so if I call y'all and I'm explaining the problem, I expect y'all to give me some damn advice. I don't want y'all just listening like what I ain't called for you. I don't need no lending ear. I need some lending advice to
Yeah,
help me
part.
get out of this situation. You feel
That's
me?
why
Like,
I said from the rip, you establish what is this phone call?
I'm
Because
not
some
even.
people,
no,
some people it'll be like, like you said, know your personnel. You know who you talking to. I know if I come to you that we're gonna have a serious discussion about whatever this matter is. And I know if I go to my other man and it's gonna be like, he's not listening. He's not here. He just wanted to tell somebody this shit. He just wanted to
Mhm.
be able to say it. So it's like copy. It's no reason for me to waste all my time trying to tell you all this great shit that you ain't gonna listen to.
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
now,
You
and
know
to
how
be
much
fair
time and
with you,
energy you waste giving out pearls the niggas ain't paying attention?
All right.
Word up.
Amen,
That's the
brother.
most frustrating thing in the world, man.
That's why we cut that shit off at the knees, bro. My bad. Go ahead, Dave.
now, to be fair to what both of you just said, you also start the conversation. Hey, you got a minute? Because it might not be a good time for the listener or the person you're asking for advice. You don't want to be thinking like they blowing you off, because that's just like that's going to do something to your psyche too. At the same time, like I needed some advice, I needed some help, and he was too busy.
Yeah,
Like,
I
but
mean the other thing too is especially when you don't know when you're the speaker. I think sometimes you also need to know how to approach that person that you're about to talk to in terms of letting them know, hey, I need your advice. Because I know anytime Smooth has ever called me, that's the first thing he says. I haven't had to guess, because he literally comes to me and says, hey Will, I got such and such going on. I need your advice. Or hey, I'm about to do blah blah blah. What you think? He doesn't leave it up to me to guess. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to Dame, usually Dame is like, man, let me tell you about this situation. And it's usually not a thing where I need to give him any feedback. But when he does want feedback, he comes to me and he says, look, I need your advice on something. I mean, that's like literally the first thing he'll say. I need your advice on something. And then, blah, blah, blah. So I think, we also have to be conscious of that as people in need. When you do, want to talk to somebody and you want to make sure they understand why you're trying to talk to them, let them know up front, like, hey, I just want to, like, hey, I'm going through some stuff, if I could just, let you know what it is. Y'all don't need no advice or nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then like Dame said, they can let you know, well, this is a great time to, go ahead and let me know, go ahead and bounce it off me, or, I'll be your sounding board, whatever the case may be, or if you need advice, tell the person like, hey, I need your advice on something because I'm going through blah, 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 blah. I need you to, tell me what you would do in this situation. I think that will cut out a lot of confusion, a lot of, like Dame says, a lot of heartache and running into the problem of you come to this person expecting advice, but you didn't tell them that, or come to this person expecting them just to be a sounding board, and now they're giving you advice you don't want to take heed on.
And that's established. We have all learned this through trial and error. This is not something.
Jamie said, "Fuck that."
Sorry.
Yeah, Jamie, like for real, like I ain't got time for it. Know what I mean? Like I ain't about to hear all that bullshit. And I know you feel me. Like I know, like that's why I don't do when we always do relationship issues. Like because I don't like giving a relationship advice. Like that's like my thing is always like, bro, is you gonna leave her? If you're not gonna leave her, then I don't want to hear that shit.
If you ain't about to dump this, bitch, then stop talking to me. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, Smooth, this the 12th time you done called me about this bitch, bro. I'm burnt out at this point. I've been told you to leave her. She fucked three of our homies. Why are you with her? I'm cool, bro. I'm cool.
Yeah. I'm done. Like, so.
Hey, Sonny, you see Smooth got that ceiling fan in the background again, too, huh? Those DMs are wide open, ladies.
Oh, man. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm for, like, I had to learn this through trial and error, to be honest with you, through frustration. So if I could prevent anybody from going through that frustration, it's like, man, like state your call, state your business from the door, like Willie said. And then sometimes you got to give people space to, like, sometimes I like to lead with, bro, if you got time, I like to bounce something off you. You know what I mean? Let me know when you got free time. Hit me up. You feel me? Something like that. Because everybody, like, I'm not always in the mood to hear your problems or to give advice. I may be going through something, or I may be in the middle of something, and I just can't stop. So sometimes give me the courtesy and be like, bro, can you know what I mean? Something pressing I want to talk to you about. I need some advice on when you get some time, hit me up or reach out to me. And I'm like, all right, I can do that. But to put me on the spot all the time, like, I feel like that's not cool either.
Right, for sure.
Hey, that's one of them Jones I hate too, bro. I tried to call you.
Yeah.
My man, his dad told me, he said, man, people always tell you I tried to call you. He said, well, how did you try? The phone either rung or didn't. There's no attempt there. That's one thing I always say. If somebody call me, if it's physically possible for me to answer the phone, even if I'm busy, can't do it, whatever, I answer the phone and say, yo, what's up? All right, look, I'm doing whatever with my wife, daughter, whatever the situation is, but I never know what that phone call is going to be. This is the same shit we talked about last week, where it's like you don't know what somebody's going through. You might have finally got the courage to say, "Look, man, I need to talk to somebody about this shit. I'm gonna call Hank," and I ain't pick up. Now you going, damn, the signs was there, and we ain't pay attention to. You can't believe whatever happened. Even if I don't have the time, that's why I hate when motherfuckers tell me like, "Oh, I tried to tell you." How you try to tell me? What did I say when you tried to tell me? Because if you called me, you ain't never called me, and I never called you back. It been 6 days. I never got back with you. I ain't that boy at all, and I hate niggas who say that. That's why I hate that I tried to call you shit. You couldn't have tried to call me because the number been the same since I got married. Because can't have no miscellaneous Happy Father's Days and all of that popping up on your marital situations.
Right, right, for sure.
No, because if it's really that pressing, you would have tried again. Obviously,
Exactly.
if I
Copy.
forgot, if I forgot that and you didn't call me back, that means it might not have been that important to you then to talk to me. It might have been just some BS or saying, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't know. Leave a text. That still
Bro,
works. Leave a
and,
voicemail.
gr-
That still works.
and grace is everything, bro. It's been plenty of time. Like, we all got to look at the situations we've been in, like personal situations. It's been plenty of times where somebody may have called, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna get right back to them. And then,
Mhm,
like Dame said, completely forgot because I got caught up in the minutia of the day. You feel
mhm.
me?
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I'm gonna get right back to you. Could go from 5 minutes to 2 hours. Okay, so let's just keep that real.
exactly.
Life
You
doesn't
feel me?
stop. I mean,
Or it could go to the next day sometime. You feel me? Because by the time I may remember to call you, like you could like Hype could hit me up at like 1:30 in the afternoon. And then I may not remember because I got caught up in the day to about 9. And I'm like, I ain't gonna call him now. You feel me? I call him tomorrow early, catch him early. It ain't and like people can't take that personally sometimes because I know like if I call somebody and they don't pick up 9 times out of 10, you feel me? They busy. You feel me? They tended
Right.
to some
That also go
issues.
back to what you said from the beginning. No smooth again, knowing your personnel. If I know Willie working in the office on the computer, he can't really be on the phone. You know what I'm saying? If he answered and said, "Nah, like I get back with you," I can't be mad that it took him 2 hours to get back with me. I'm working in the kitchen. You
Right.
can't be like, "Man, this nigga ain't got back with me." You know what time I go on break. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or he got 3 jobs and he gonna be at all three of them today. And knowing your personnel and knowing what that situation is, always understanding that the situation is always bigger than just you. Don't ever just look at all situations from how did it affect you? Because I always try to assess, like when I have little disagreements and stuff with my wife, what is she hearing? What is she saying? What didn't you get about that situation? It can't always be the other person's fault if you always the common denominator in these situations. Can't be everybody else. Sometimes it got to be you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
life doesn't stop because you're waiting for that person to call you back. And life keeps going on and on and on and on. I can be in Willie's back pocket. Like, all right, he's gonna pick you back up one day. I'm gonna get that advice one day from him. Smooth, yeah, yeah. I called him 3 weeks ago. He still didn't call me back. You know, it doesn't work like that. If it's that
I
important, get help.
I got a question. I don't know if I don't want to step on none of your questions, Willie. So if I'm stepping on it, my apologies.
Oh no, no
Uh,
problem.
how do y'all deal with the the friend that's too emotionally dependent on you,
So
or have y'all ever had that friend?
yeah,
Yes.
I think I've been there before a couple of times, and I think that sometimes um, I'll take that step back to myself and be like, okay, I really can't be mad at them if I'm allowing it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it from that standpoint. If I really feel some kind of way about it, I have to take that step to stop it, to be unavailable, to be or direct, right? To the point you made earlier, Smooth, of a person that is constantly dumping on you, but you can't, they can't reciprocate being either a sounding board, a advice giver, or whatever the case you may need. And for the most part, one of the people was one of those kind of people that I felt like I always gave them the opportunity and space to come to me with their problems, their issues, their celebrations, their joys. And anytime, I approached them, it was more of a competition. You know what I'm saying? If I had something good going on, they had something good going on. If I had something bad going on, they got something bad going on. So it was always this thing of, they would make time to talk to me, but they would never allow me to just have my moment that I could be like, all right, this is what I'm going through, blah, blah, blah. And it would be like, oh man, I'm going through such and such too. And then now I'm back to listening to their issues, you know what I'm saying? And not in a relating kind of way, more of a, now I'm the sounding board again, and now I feel worse because now I got my emotional baggage and their emotional baggage on me. Or if I'm trying to tell them something good, like, oh, my kid graduated from blah blah blah. Oh, well, my kid just became a millionaire, and it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And it was always one of those kind of situations. And so I had to decide that, to no longer be available, or to no longer be so available. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I don't want to, just totally disown my friend. This person, I at least did feel like they were a good friend, but I was just like, you know what? We're a good friend when we're doing these activities or when we're talking about these types of things. Everything else, nah, I gotta pick and choose now. So I think that's the thing, is like being able to understand that, you are the master of your, availability. You're the master of your ability to be either the listener, the advice giver, or not.
Mm. Dang.
Sonny said she hasn't dealt with it.
I had to cut it back, like stop answering the phone so much to those people who are abusing my availability. Like, because sometimes I don't want to be bothered with your stuff because I got my own stuff. I'm still trying to figure things out myself. I got to sit back and think for my own problem. I can't keep, running to Willie for every issue. Now, some stuff that I do, because he has more experience in it, he's a father and a grandfather at this point in his life. Like, he's been through this. Let me ask him, because I can't ask anybody else. But I'm not going to ask him for everything that comes up in my life. Figure it out on your own. Get your, depends on how severe it is. But to be emotionally dependent on somebody is draining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
I don't know why people try not to figure out things on their own first before they started going and asking.
Like, some people don't be equipped to handle them situations.
Exactly.
That's a good point though. Yeah,
but just like he just said, I know Willie got the experience with this situation. This is one of my things I always will say. I'm gonna lean to the person that has the most experience and try to see what I can get out of that. If I know I don't know nothing about this shit, somebody give me some tech situation. Like we talked about this again last week. I'm going straight to Willie. I don't know about that shit. Like, ain't no reason for me to go out here and make a bad decision or fuck up the church's money, as they say, when I know he know.
Well, it depends on the situation that you're going through. But some stuff you just got to figure out on your own. Like, because everybody's situation is unique.
Yeah, but some people, like, I don't care how old they get or what have you, they just don't have those problem solving skills.
Yeah, you just kept having birthdays. You never matured. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have those problem solving skills, so that's why they become emotionally dependent on other people. Now you can force them. You can't even really force them. The only thing you really could do is just cut that version of you off from them, of, you know what I mean, always being there for them. And then 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, that's not going to make them emotionally stronger or more independent. That's it. They just gonna transfer that energy to somebody else. It's very few times, like, either you have it or you don't. Like you said, certain situations, maybe you can figure out they can figure out by themselves. But when it comes to big decisions, like the emotionally dependent people I'm talking about, like, they just not capable of handling those situations. and they always burdening other people. Like I'm at a point in my life to where I used to want to be that guy to always help, you know what I mean, or to lean on. But it's like, nah, I can't do that no more. I can't do that no more.
It's
Especially,
unhealthy for you sometimes. Like you can't always be the save them, help. You have to help yourself by letting them be self-sufficient.
and it's not, especially when they can't reciprocate it. You feel me? That's big for me.
That
Reciprocation,
part.
reciprocity. How Lauryn Hill say? What's that song? Reciprocity or something like that. You feel me? Like
Chill. I
I
was
need that.
listening to that the other day.
You feel me? I need that in return. That's just what, like, this can't be no one-way street for me. We too old for that. We too old for that. You feel me? And like I'm not trying to baby nobody. I don't want nobody trying to baby me. So like it's gotta be a two-way street. Gotta be a two-way street. I gotta be able to rely on you if you want me to be able to rely on me. If you want to be able to rely on me. You feel me? Like,
So, this is pre-marriage. Bless you, pre-marriage hype. Everybody's problems, they bring them to me. My wife will always say, everybody always talk about you, their best friend. That's just because I'm the best friend that a lot of people have. That doesn't mean that they're my best friend. I'm just the best person that they got.
Right.
And I would always allow them different situations just because I want to see us all win. I know that I'm gonna get myself to a situation where I done won. And when I start to look around here, I want to be able to say, damn, they go Smooth, damn, they go Sunny, damn, they go Dame. I want my people to be there with me when I win. I don't want to look around and it's just me. Now, in that same vein, though, when I have my own situations and my own problems, and then I got my own family and shit, I got my own responsibilities here now. I can't be here having this 20-minute conversation with you. I can't come over to the crib so we can talk about this. I can't continue to do this because, like you just said, when I got my own shit going on, you can't reciprocate. I know I can't bring this shit to you because you're not a good decision maker. You don't even carry shit the way that I would carry shit. Like I said that last week, is I don't respect the way a lot of people move. So it's like I already don't respect the way that your mind works as far as this shit goes. So I can't bring this to you. I can only take this to a certain amount of people. And once you start to look around and see like ain't too many motherfuckers that I can call in these situations. So it's like you can't call me in these situations for everything. I just flat out tell motherfuckers, nope, can't do it. Like I don't know what to tell you, bro. Y'all figure it out. Like, because I always tell motherfuckers, I was the youngest. I was the youngest in damn near all of the circles, whether it was the family or it was the block. But I'm the motherfucker who everybody go to. So I always tell motherfuckers, like, if I'm the one, if I'm this age, how old are you? And if you haven't figured it the fuck out at this point, I can't do shit for you. My cousin, like I stated this before, he's the oldest of the grandkids. I'm the youngest. That nigga is like 60 something. He calls me for advice. Where should I move? What grant should I take? Which way should I go home? Type of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, nigga, if you can't figure it out at this point, I can't do shit for you.
No, I mean, but that's the problem is that age doesn't bring on wisdom. Experience,
Copy. Wisdom brings
as
on
well as
wisdom.
understanding. That's what brings on wisdom, and a lot of people just don't have the capacity to understand, and they haven't done enough in their age to bring them to a point of understanding or a point of wisdom or a point of understanding. I was just talking to somebody about that recently about how by the time I was 28. I was taking care of my a second family. I had a house. I had cars. I had a really good job. I was already fully into my career. I was taking care of kids and everything. And then I look at some 28-year-olds now, and a lot of them are still at home. You know what I'm saying? They haven't even started their lives yet, and by the time I was that age, I had a lot of, experience. I had a lot of, I had already had my own business. I already had, like I said, I've been in my career for a long time. I had been living on my own for close close to 15 years. By the time I was 30, I was almost 15 years living on my own. So, there's a huge difference between my experience, my knowledge, my wisdom, and then somebody who is, either fresh out of college or not even through that yet, as well as not even living on their own or responsible for themselves yet, right? So I think that a lot of people are still behind, and no matter and unfortunately, even at that age, no matter how much time you give them, they just ain't there.
Facts. Facts.
So while we're talking about giving this kind of advice and all this kind of stuff, just what do you think the thin line is between dumping and venting? How do when do you feel like a person has crossed that line?
Man, when it's constant, when you're not coming to me with the good news just as much as you're coming to me with the problems.
Yeah.
You understand? So
That makes
what I've
sense.
learned, what I've learned, and this is why I've chilled with calling certain or everybody friends or crew and all that, because do you celebrate your victories with me? Do you share them with me? And that ain't always attending an event or something like that. It's hit me up, hey yo, check, bro, this good news, blase blah, this happened. Know what I mean? That's what's up. Instead of it always being, man, you can't believe what happened, I'm going through this. If it's always, I'm not trying to trauma bond with you forever.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. That's why I had posted on one of my posts recently, like, fool's party, king celebrate. You feel me? Like, a lot of people are partying just to numb the pain, just to get away from everything. Like, I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to celebrate my wins, celebrate my victories. My happiness. So if you're not trying to celebrate your happiness with me, and it's always the negativity, then like to me, that's when you're crossing the line.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And my thing too, on that same note, is when you offer to either help me or give me some good advice just off the cuff. It's like, hey, I ran into this situation. I think this would be great for you. Or I ran into a situation and I thought about you. Or somebody gave me a good quote, and this might be some inspiration to you. It could be something as simple as that. Like you said, don't make it always about your problems and you dumping on me versus you coming to me and being like, hey, how's your day going? If it ain't nothing else, how's your day going? What's going on with you, or how's your kids, or whatever the case may be. I think that's big to me too. I'm sorry, go ahead, hon.
I think this one gets answered in the initial question. Do you want me to listen, or do you want my opinion? If you want my opinion, then you're venting whatever the situation is, and then we're going, break it down. If you just want me to listen, then you just dumping this one on me. And in those situations, like I said, if you just dumping one on me, I'm not carrying this anywhere, because you don't want anything out of me from this. You just want to be able to say it. Sometimes you need to say it just so you can hear, like, wait, that didn't sound right. I wanted the Sixers to pay Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler until I saw the 180 went down the bottom line. Jimmy went, that's a hard number to see. You dig me? You know what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes once it comes out and they be like, wait, that don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounded different in your head. You thought I was going to say this in a different way, and now you don't even need me for the situation. So that's why I said, if you're dumping, and I'm not the trash collector. I'm not out here to help you with this one. But if you need something to vent, and we need to have a discussion. So they always say the difference between you just talking and us having a conversation is you say something, I reply. You listen to my reply, and then you reply to that. not just I have these preconceived things that I'm gonna say regardless, no matter what point you bring up or what you say. Yeah, but I ain't listening to that.
Right.
So yeah, you
Yeah,
dumping and I'm rolling.
I think it's more along for me the lines of like what Smooth said. If you're not reciprocating, if every time you call me it's always bad, like I'm a big person of if every time you talk to me it's bad news, I'm over it because I've had conversations where I get to the point of, well, what are you doing to change it? And I know people get that way with me sometimes too. It's like if you're gonna keep venting about the same thing and you're not proactively changing it, I'm tired of hearing about it. Like I don't know what more you want from me, and it's basically you're dumping it on me because and that's why I said I remember like and it's crazy we talking about this tonight because I was talking about this today and the day before, and I'm like I've had conversations with people where I've said I had to take myself out of a situation emotionally to still be your friend because I was in my feelings about it. And that's when I feel like you're dumping because now I'm all emotionally invested and you could care less and I'm all entangled. Like that's too much for me. I've invested myself, but that's sometimes we do that as friends. We take on other people's problems. We have to learn not to.
Right.
But I definitely feel like you're dumping if all you're saying is bad. To Smooth's point, if you're never giving me positive, we can't celebrate the good things. You're just miserable every day. Every day I have to hear about you being miserable. I don't want to be miserable every day. I got my own problems. I can't be like, and that's that sometimes you get to the people that are dumping so bad that you can't even get what you need to get out. You can't share. So you're keeping it in because you're trying to be an effective listener to them because they don't want advice. They just want you to listen. And it's a lot. It's a lot when you can't get it out. Like you're not both being allowed to vent. It's just one all the time. And then you may have even initiated the call. I know people that initiated the phone call to get advice and then they end up getting dumped on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's
Like,
the
I
problem
called you,
I
I
be
was
having.
going through it.
Yeah. And that's the problem I be having with certain people. Is like I'm like, hey, I'm going through this thing, blah blah blah. Next thing I know, I'm listening to their problem. I'm like, wait a minute, like what just happened here?
You don't get no relief. You don't get no advice with what you were seeking. Yeah, so it depends on the situation, most definitely. But I feel like I said, you know who you're talking to, and if you can't get out what you need to get out, that's not the person that you need to be venting to because you can't, because they're going to dump on you, and you're never going to be able to express what you're feeling. And I don't like the meet. I know I kind of missed part of that conversation, but the I'm going through it too. So yeah, we both might be going through it, but I need to vent right now. You might be equipped at holding in for periods of time and not sharing. I need to share. And to the thing I posted, yeah, I knowing your audience and who you're talking to, you know what they're gonna give you. Like I'm not gonna come to, like I said in the comment, I'm not gonna go to Smooth and Willie and expect them just to listen. No, I want to hear their uncut, filtered advice, and I want to know if I'm wrong. I want to know if I'm looking at it wrong or what I'm doing wrong, or if I'm not. Tell me what I need to do. I may not actively listen at the time, but at some point it's gonna be in the back of my head. Well, one of them said blah blah blah. So I think we have to, you have to know who you're talking to. And like to all you guys' point, if I call you and say, hey, I want to run something past you, I'm asking for your advice. If I need to vent, I'm going to tell you, hey, I just need to vent. I don't really need, especially with our opposite sex friends. Like if with males, they're by choice, by just who you guys are, you're fixers. So if I tell you a problem, you want to fix it, and it's like, no, I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to give me advice. I want you to. So I think with men, you kind of have to be, as a female, we have to tell you, hey, I need your advice, or if you know that you're going to them, understand that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to fix it and give you solutions so you can get past it. Whereas if you're a guy coming to me, I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear what you're saying, and I may let you just vent and get it off your chest because you do need to hear it out loud and hear that. Maybe it does sound stupid. I do that with my female friends. You got to let them say it so they can hear it.
All right. Yo, let me get to Dame. Go ahead, Dame.
Dumping and venting. One is depending on if you want advice, and the other one is you're just going through it and you're just trying to get things off your chest. But here's my question. Are you a friend or are you a psychologist? because dumping and venting, I mean, it's cool and all, but if I'm on the phone, that's all I'm doing every time I speak to you. I should be charging you by the hour at this point because we should be having some celebrations, as Smooth said earlier. We should be celebrating some, what's going on. Like, oh man, I tell you some good news, or seeing what's up, how you doing, instead of just always dumping and venting. There should be some type of joy coming from another side of the conversation of that phone, or we are speaking to somebody in person. It shouldn't just be problem solve time, venting time,
Right.
because nobody wants to hear that all the time.
For sure.
Because it's almost like what Haim said earlier. Haim, you still there? Because I had a question for you.
Right here, brother.
Yeah, man. I just want to know. You sound like you have a talk show. The way you sound to give good advice, you sound like you should have your own show.
Well, good brother, I actually do. It is called the How to Hustle Podcast with Hype. This week on the episode debut on tomorrow, 2:00 GFT Radio Network. It is What is Your Toxic Trait? Where I do it with the brothers, local Philly podcast. Turns out that I actually knew one of these niggas for years once I start talking to one of them on the page. The jeweler, shout out to my man Sheed. To the point 267. Those brothers are featured on the episode 98. We're coming up on 100 very soon. I appreciate it, my brother.
No problem.
How about those Chiefs though? While we switching things up, man. How about them Chiefs last night? Move where at, player.
I need to find out how much Hype is paying Dame to get these plugs every week.
Hey man, the ceiling fan is back. How about them Chiefs, baby?
You a Chiefs fan?
I was last night.
I was trying to I thought he was rooting for the Eagles. Aren't you in?
No, Smooth was.
I know Smooth's an Eagles fan for life, but
I'm an Eagles hater for life. I'm an Eagles brother.
I'm from the city of brotherly love. You feel me?
I'm a diehard Cowboys fan.
Whoa.
See how you just bucked. Man, let's get back to the show, man.
I just wanted, it's trending news. It's the biggest
fans'
news.
perspective every other Sunday at 9 p.m.
Copy that, but you had to throw that out there. Go Chiefs.
I need y'all to start posting pictures of these football players because I just fell in love last night with somebody and I'm trying to figure out how I could be a part of their team.
That would be Patrick Mahomes, probably. He got those light eyes.
No, it's not. It's actually not Patrick Mahomes. If you see my Facebook stats and my stories, you already know who it is. And I need to find his number and talk to him every day for no reason.
Oh, good Lord.
Right,
so what you're saying is you would like to get him on Sex with Sonny? Is that
At least 2 Fridays.
No, I would very much like for him to have sex with Sonny.
Well, all right now, copy that. You hear that, fellas? Those DMs are wide open, Chiefs.
All right, our last question of the night is listening. Are you listening to understand or to respond? So this is I mean it's not really a question. It's kind of rhetorical, but this is the thing is how are you dealing with people when you're trying, especially when you're the one trying to get advice or at least get a discussion going with somebody and their listening skills just aren't there, and I know Smooth has talked about this in the past, and we've all kind of commented on this, but being able to be a good listener, how are you dealing with that, or how do you how do you how are you a good listener to your people?
I would say I'm the best listener I can be. That's how I would word it. Depending on who you ask and what advice I give them at that time, they may not think I'm a good listener. They might, because they may not like what I have to say. But like I said, I'm the person you call if you're looking for an advice or you're trying to find a solution. You know, that doesn't mean I have the solution, but I may have some insight to help you get to your solution. You feel me? Or I may tell you, you know, help support your own solution, however it may go. So I'm listening to understand. I'm always listening to understand, you know, because I can't respond if I don't understand what we're talking about. You know, I don't like to sound foolish. I don't like to be foolish. I don't like to just talk about something, you know, give my 2 cents on the situation without having some in-depth knowledge on the situation. You understand? So I listen to respond. I'm not just about to be talking or just, you know, I think it's fake. You know what I mean? I'm not that. I'm not. I don't want to pretend with you. I think it's fake if I'm just listening to respond. You know, because we've been in that situation to people where we don't want to hear what they have to say. You feel me? And we just want them to finish talking, so we could just jump in the conversation. We've all done that. We do that. But if you're calling me for advice, I'm listening to understand.
For sure.
Yeah, I think
Okay, go.
oh no, I'm sorry. I think I am a mixture of both. Depending on, but I don't like to really offer advice. I pay attention to a lot of stuff. With friends, conversations, stuff that they tell me. I'm more of a sitting there, and if you feel like talking, we'll talk. I'm not really gonna ask you too many questions. I'm gonna let you share whatever you're gonna share, but I'm also gonna pay attention to a couple different things that you throw out there, because you know, as friends, we have conversations. People throw out shit, and you may catch it, you may not, or you know, you might be in your own little world. And when I do give advice, I'm probably yelling it at you because I'm frustrated at this point. It's like, you know what it is. You saw it millions of times. And it's like, well, what do you want to do? Because you actively known this part of it. So what more, like, and you was okay with it. So why is it different? I'm more of that. I want to guide you to what you need to do versus me telling you what you need to do, because I'm never going to tell you what to do, because I really can't talk, because my situation, looking on it, well, whatever I'm going through is probably like some crazy shit, and I can't really say, well, you should do this. Like, nah. But I'm going to just have you, I like for you to say it out loud so you can hear yourself, because a lot of times our friends, you know, we keep a lot of our thoughts to ourselves. So when you think things, it's one thing to think them, it's the whole thing to hear yourself say it out loud, because it makes it a reality. For whatever reason, it's like a click, because now you heard it, and so I forget who said it. It sounds stupid when you said it. You felt stupid when you heard it out loud, because you're explaining to your friend, this is the situation I'm going through, and it sounds ridiculous. And it's like, have you gone through this before? Like, why now? Like, type of situation. But I do try to understand it. But I definitely, sometimes I do catch myself listening to respond, because by that point, I've heard you about 5 times on the phone with the same person with the same nonsense. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm over it. Here's my opinion, whether you want it or not. So, yeah, not good.
For sure. Got something, Dane? Nope. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, what they said, because it's foolish to just respond if you're responding like, yeah, if Willie calls me up like, I got this big problem, I need your advice on my daughters. Then I start talking about his sons. Like, what the heck? You know, that's not where he was going with. You know, just giving some really random response. A real friend, if you're really listening, you want to understand the problem so you can give the right response. You just want to give them, you know, 2 + 2 is 4, not 13.
Right.
I would say I'm a great listener because I always try to be the things that I wish that I could get from other people. So it's like, if I'm gonna give you the best advice that I think that you need in whatever the situation is, if I turn to you with the same situation, then I will hope that you could do the same for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. So he said, Dame is always listening to respond.
You ever hear him when we be talking and he just busts out of nowhere, just like, what?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm a good listener, because I generally will listen to understand when Smooth said this earlier, I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, no, I think I have done that, because he said that we've all been there, we've all done that where we either wanted somebody to just to hurry wrap it up, or we might have something else we want to say and we just want to get it out, and we're listening but we're not really listening, we just want to respond. So I definitely have been there. I can't say I've been 100% honestly listening to every conversation that is ever had, but in general, I would say 95% of the time I'm listening to understand. Mainly because I am the kind of person that I want to be able to give a person good advice, help them fix a situation, or at least help them better understand their situation. That's one thing that I notice is doesn't, well, at least I haven't encountered it a lot, where people, instead of giving you a solution, they just better help you understand why you're there, or better help you understand that it's not the end of the world, or that, you know what I mean, like, because I think sometimes we want to help people fix things or give them advice on how they can turn things around, but sometimes you don't have that answer, or sometimes you don't even know how to get them out of that situation. Somebody recently told me that they had some financial issues, and I'm okay with my money, but I'm not a financial guru, so I don't even know how to tell you that. But what I can tell you is that it's not the end of the world if you at a certain point of financial trouble, where you're not starving, you're not getting evicted, you're not gonna be like, hey, you know what got you here, you know how this worked out, but it's not the end of the world, you can turn this around, it's the best I got, you know what I'm saying. And I think sometimes that's when you've been able to listen to a person, what they're going through and how they got there, or where they're trying to get to, sometimes you can at least give them that and not feel bad, you know what I'm saying, and still be helpful.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry, I know I've lost my notes. Any other comments on that?
No, well,
oh, the last thing I wanted to touch on, and this kind of goes back. It actually kind of touches on this on this last question too. It's just what do you feel is the best way to improve the way people are giving you emotional support, or any kind of well, I guess that's the question. Is what do you do? What do you think is the best way for you? What it can either be personally, or if you just want to give people advice in general that can help them, get emotional support the best way.
It's the person genuinely giving a fuck. It's the person genuinely trying to help you with whatever that situation is.
And be honest.
Like yeah, but if you're being honest with them, that's because you genuinely care. If I'm gonna be honest with you about the situation, like I said, if you ask for my opinion, then I'm gonna give it to you. But it's all.
And I'm also talking about the one looking for help. Like sometimes the one looking for help isn't always
the story.
Yeah, they're not always completely honest. They're not about their intention, about really seeking, advice, seeking your honest opinion. You feel me? Because some people just want you to agree with their bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people just want you to agree with their bullshit. I'm the type, I'm not gonna respect you when I know you just agreeing with my bullshit. Like I'm gonna lose all respect for you because you being phony with me. You know what I mean? One of my partners from back in the day when I was at Virginia State, he said, "How can we call each other brothers if we never argue or disagree?" You understand? So, I need you to be.
I don't agree with that one.
We're not gonna if we always in a situation to where we agree with each other on everything, it's not real. It's not real.
I'm not. No. Not saying that we gotta agree on everything, but if we don't argue. See, all right, I could give you the shoes that I walked in. My best friend from the time that I was 9 until he died when we was 32. We never had one disagreement, never had one argument. His dad is a preacher. My dad is Muslim since the 60s. We come from two totally different backgrounds, and never one time did we have a nah, I ain't fucking with cuz because of this, that, or whatever. Or even like I said,
That
even
ain't,
like
that,
just
nah,
even no,
I ain't
you said
speaking. I
you
ain't
said
talking about that.
no,
I
you
ain't talking
said
about beefing.
you said hold up. You said arguments and disagreements.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, you know what I'm saying, we disagreed on the religious aspect of things, but we just stayed away from that aspect of things. When Christmas comes, I'll send him a Merry Christmas text. When Ramadan comes, he'll text me Happy Ramadan. And we did that from teenagers to, like I said, we grown men. But I can't agree in that situation that it always has to be something that we got to butt heads on. Because me and my brother have been here since 1987, and things are only good now because we ain't never together.
yeah. But at some point, you and your best friend had a disagreement, correct?
Nah,
So y'all never
me and Chris,
disagreed about anything.
like I said, the thing that we would disagree on the most would have been religion, and in that situation, it would just be something that we can agree to disagree, but we can respect each other's situations.
Yeah, but y'all still disagreed. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. It ain't about the level or the intensity of the disagreement.
He's saying
It's
disagree.
just disagree, period. If you
All right,
never
see now,
disagree,
all right. See what I'm caught up in that situation was disagree and argue.
yeah, it's either or.
Copy,
You feel me?
copy,
It's either or.
copy.
Because that's like
Semantics.
saying,
Then I'm
yeah,
getting
because
caught in
that's like
semantics. Copy.
you and your wife. I know y'all had disagreements and arguments. The people, if you really love somebody, y'all going to have an issue. Sometimes it may not even be spoken on, but you're going to have an issue with something that
Me
it
and my
has to be
wife,
spoken.
me and my wife went 10 years before we had our first argument.
But y'all argue.
He said, but you did it.
Yeah, the goal
We
is
had
to
that.
do it at least. At least to know that
We
y'all
had
are
that.
on the same page
We
all the
had
time.
we had that argument 10 years into the situation, and it was like, yo, where is this about to go?
Yeah, but I
Because
don't think I
I
argued
seen
with
the
people
train
I
coming
dated
with the
where we
lights flashing,
disagreed.
and I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, girl, because this is not about to be cool. Go ahead, Sonny.
No, I said I've dated people and I haven't I think I didn't really start arguing with people until like the last couple of people I dated, but like before that, I don't argue with people. Like I try not to. Even people if I'm currently dating you, I don't want to argue with you. We can have a disagreement. I'll tell you something I don't like. We can have a disagreement, but like having a full on argument, I don't got time for that. And if I do, it's
Copy.
not gonna be pretty because I know my mouth is crazy. I'm gonna say something reckless. You're gonna probably hit me or be super mad, and we're gonna have a beef like that hard because I'm gonna say something to hurt your feelings because that's my goal when I argue with anybody. So I don't want to argue with you. I don't like arguing with family members. But if I have to, it's not going to go well. So I try not to go there. So I'll have a disagreement. We can disagree on some stuff. I'll let you know that I'm upset and that you bother me. But as far as let's argue, no, I'm not about to do that.
And that's
All right,
and
see,
that's
like I
and,
said,
that's,
see,
and that's my
copy,
point
because that's why I said I
about
got
where
caught in the
we're
semantics.
disagreeing
See,
on. Yeah, because y'all, when I say the word argument, we look at the word argument differently. Y'all looking at as soon as you hear the word argument, oh, it's hostility. And like I don't look. An argument is what we having now.
Mhm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
That part,
What
yeah.
a-
all
An
right, see,
argument is a disagreement. Is a disagreement.
see,
Yeah.
That's all it
and
is. So,
yeah, see,
that's
for
not
see for me,
semantics. That's
see for
exactly
me,
what it
this
is.
is all right. See, for me though, this is just a discussion because we listening to the points that each other is making. In an argument, ain't nobody listening. Like Sonny said, I'm trying to hit below the belt because I know I ain't paying attention to none of that shit. This is why I always tell people my mom and my dad were together for like 40 some years till my dad passed. I never one time saw them have an argument. They had like slight disagreements about I wanted chicken, you was making fish type of things, but never was there a conflict situation in the house, which is how I got to it once I get to my situation. Like Sonny said, I'm not looking to argue with nobody. If I see that you got your argument boots on, copy, you got it, I'm cool. I might even block you for the night just because we ain't doing that. I don't want to go here.
Yeah.
Once we go
I try
here,
to get
it
warning
gets real
signs.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, if the argument is heated or if the argument gets out of hand, I think that's when you're at that point. But to Smooth's point,
Cause
really the
Sonny just said it,
argument,
niggas trying to smack her and all that. Like
yeah,
we're out of pocket at this point.
yeah, but to Smooth's point, the argument really is just a discussion of opposing views. That's literally all it is. So you can have an argument, but not be mad at the person,
Hostile.
or not be hostile, or not
Yeah,
feel
I've
like
had those too, but like, no,
yeah.
I agree. I've had multiple of those, but I'm just saying, like to my point, like to what understanding how a hype was talking about yeah, he doesn't argue. Yeah, I don't argue either because I know for me, and that's not just the people I date. If we're arguing with anybody, I'm going below the belt immediately. Like I'm trying to get you all in your feelings, so I don't do that purposely. But yeah, I can disagree with you and say, well, I don't like what you said. This bothered me, and here's why I don't like it. And you can say, well, I didn't like this and X, Y, Z, and we're cool. I don't have hostility towards you. You won't. It just is what it is. We agree, disagree. But yeah, I agree. Like I don't want yes friends. I don't want people that I can't talk to and not going to challenge my way of thinking. I want people to tell me, my friends, to tell me I'm wrong and call me out on my shit, like same way I should be able to do with them. So yeah, to Smooth point, yeah, you have to have a disagreement. Like me and my best friend, we never had an argument like where it was a shouting match. We've got to the point where we bumped head about a conversation we've had, but it wasn't like I'm yelling at her, she disrespected me. It's just that we do the therapy shit. I feel like this bothers me. You said this, and this is why I'm trying to get you to understand. And I do the same thing with her. We don't have to get to the heated debate, like to Smooth point, but we can say I disagree with this. Can you be quiet? Sorry, he said no. But we're having a disagreement right now. But yeah.
So I guess it's all terms, right? Terms and differences in the terms, but the basic point is being able to have a discussion with someone who can give you an opposing view, who can give you an opposing point of view, being able to have somebody who can give you who can like you say, Smooth, call you out on your bullshit, be able to let you know when you basically fucked up, and not allow you to steer that conversation just into their favor. Like I was watching this show recently, and these people are in these relationships, these like arranged relationships, and so one of the women had the relationship with a guy who he did make a couple of off comments to her, but in the course of the relationship, she started to just kind of challenge him all the time, kind of treat him badly, and he would always have a comeback for it, or he would try to joke his way out of those situations. But she never took them as jokes. She never took those comebacks as him just trying to protect himself. She always took it maliciously, and so now all of the women that are in this experiment with her, they're like in agreement that everything she says about him bad.
Talking
They're
about
like,
love is blind.
yeah, you're right. He was trash. All right, he was horrible. All right, he was no good for you. But it was really her. It was literally really her. She was really the problem in the relationship. But nobody wants to tell her that. Everybody's afraid to confront her and let her know. And she's not growing. She's not getting better and she's still failing in relationships because nobody's challenging her on her bullshit.
Are you talking about Love is Blind?
Yeah.
About the cuties incident?
Yeah, the cuties incident. Yeah. The reunion. I'm talking about the reunion on the reunion episode. All the women are still allowing her to be stupid and be and be messed up because nobody wants to call her out on her bullshit.
I hear Love is Blind. I'm instantly thinking about Eve.
No, it's a Netflix show where this lady basically blew out of proportion. The guy called her fat because he asked her was she eating another cutie. So she made it that he was fat shaming her, blah, blah, blah. She's not even fat, but she went left with it. And then they actually showed the incident and it was like, really?
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, so all in all, my final comment on this is learn what you need when you want to go to people, when you need emotional support. and let them know up front so that way they know how to help you or they know how to approach you so that you get the most out of those conversations. Don't be afraid to, state your case up front or state your needs up front rather. But also to Smooth's point earlier, you got to be honest too, and you got to be upfront with what you're doing in these situations so that people can provide you the best help and support. But also, watch that fine line. Don't dump. Don't only be, looking for somebody to take your emotional baggage. I forgot who mentioned this, but not everybody doesn't want to be your trauma bonding with you. So definitely seek people who can give you real, honest, and caring comments, but also don't be on that bullshit. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, go back to what Smooth said about being honest. How can you expect to get honest and good advice and fix the problem if you're not honest with them trying to get the answer out of them? You're going to get an honest answer from that person that you're asking, but you won't get the bad advice because the situation isn't real, isn't complete. You're not filling in all those gaps and pictures of the puzzle.
Indeed. And a great place to get some advice is over at the Join the Conversation group. Post anonymously, post memes, post whatever you want. And, folks over there will definitely give you some great advice, some insight, and you might even have some fun while you're doing it. So you say we have to emotionally support the Eagles fans.
Because the Chiefs parade should be right here tomorrow or something.
Yeah. I'll go ahead, Hype. I'm sorry.
Go Chiefs.
Chiefs. Any other comments before we wrap this up?
Patrick
I just want to tell Smooth that I'm here for him and during his emotional triumph. I almost called him last night, but I just want him to know that I am a phone call away.
Y'all gotta understand. Like I said, the Eagles was not expected to make the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. So everything we did this season was, you can ask Dan. Everything we did this season was amazing. Was icing on the cake. We didn't even expect Jalen Hurts. We didn't even know if Jalen Hurts was going to be our starting quarterback moving forward.
That nigga about to get $50 million a year.
Exactly. So they took us on a ride. They took the fans on a fabulous, unexpected ride this year. And like most of us said, once we start seeing how good we were, the only team that can beat us is the team that beat us. You feel me? So it's like, can't be mad. Can't be mad.
Right.
I don't
even watch football, but I just wanted. I watched what happened, and I was sad for you. And a couple of.
She said I was sad.
And I was trying
to. Not,
now I did put pieces to the players that I've been betting on FanDuel for a while. And Jalen Hurts pissed me off the last game. He didn't cover for me, and that's why I lost my ticket. So I love him, but I woke up during the Super Bowl. Continue.
Well, we'll talk more about sports on the fans' perspective in the future. Make sure y'all get with Dame and Smooth every other Sunday at 9 p.m. for the fans' perspective. In the meantime, Sonny, tell the folks where they can find you at.
It's your girl, I am Sunny _D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. Catch me on my blog, unreservedlyme.com.
All right. Appreciate that. Smooth.
You already know it's your boy Smooth. You catch me on Twitter all the damn time at eTrentonGroomy, on Instagram at Mr.Wilson 11_11, and on my blog kingstruth.com, and on Snap at King's Truth.
And those DMs are wide open, ladies.
What? I don't know. That fan got it popping. I don't know. Really home though this time. I caught that.
How to Hustle Live Show, March 12th. Get your tickets now. How to Hustle Live Show. Show starts at 7. Doors is at 6. Hit the link in my bio. Scan the QR code if you see a poster around town. And also, go Chiefs.
It's your boy Dave with another level up on Instagram. Shinlo21 on Twitch. Shinlo21 on Xbox. And Checkmate21 on TikTok if I ever sign back in.
And this your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter, and Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. Find me over at gamingwithstyles.com. Visit stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to, and williestyles.info for all my links. All right, it's been a great show as usual. Make sure you guys, again, go check out week 1 of the Healthy You series. That was last week. This has been week 2. Last week we talked about mental health. This week we talked about emotional support. Next week we got another great show coming up, either next week or the week after. We'll find out soon. We got another great show coming up for our week 3 of the Healthy You series. So make sure you guys come back for more. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. You know where to find us. Until then, we are out. Uh-oh.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Respected, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFTRadioshow.com for all of our audio,